Are there marketing tasks that need to be done for your company, but you just don't have the time or enough people to help? Do you hate managing social media? Are you curious about starting a podcast? This episode is hosted by the founder of GetLeverage.com, Nick Sonnenberg. Leverage is a premier marketing platform that pairs you with a team of experts for any big or small project that you want to outsource.
You know, when you're driving a faster brain, when you're driving a Lamborghini, you better know how to drive it. And you better have the ability to stop on a dime when shit comes up or whatever. I eliminate as much choice out of my life as possible to prevent things from happening.
On this week's episode, Nick checks in with Leverage client Peter Shankman, public relations master, best-selling author, and host of the #1 ADHD podcast, Faster Than Normal. Listen in as Peter chats about his productivity hacks he uses to operate his faster than normal brain.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Peter.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
So, I mean, I have so many questions for you. How did you get to be the normal? Like, you know, how did you grow up? How did you start Hero? I mean, give me like the short spiel.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to be doing any of this. I was in grad school studying fashion and portrait photography because it was a great way to meet women. In the early 90s, with 18 credits left in my graduate degree, I lost my financial aid, and the government sent me a letter that said, "Your parents make too much money. We're taking away your financial aid." And I sent the government back a letter that said they do make too much money, but they keep it. And the government didn't find that funny. And so I moved back to New York, where I was born and raised. I'm a New York City public school kid. And I was hanging out in an AOL chat room, America Online, Melrose Place TV gossip chat room. And someone in that chat room said, my company's trying to build a newsroom. You have a journalism degree. Why don't you submit your resume? I said, sure, I have no experience. That'll be great. 2 weeks later, I was being moved down to Virginia to become one of the founding editors of America Online and help launch AOL News. And it was literally one of those things where you're just like, okay, I lied that I had any skills whatsoever. I'm here now. I can't really leave, so I better learn what to do really fast. And, put my journalism degree to work immediately. And myself and about 3 other people, we built this newsroom, and we turned it into the largest online newsroom, digital online newsroom in the world for several years. It was truly an amazing experience. It was one of the best times of my life. I learned so much from Steve Case. I learned about customer service. I learned about reaching and understanding your audience. It was amazing. I moved back to New York in '98 after leaving AOL, and figured I could start a PR firm. I knew more about public relations and the .com boom that was quickly approaching. And it was, but I had no money. And I was diagnosed with ADHD not until my mid 30s, but as a kid, it was just like, you're being stupid again, stop it disease. And, or you're doing something dumb, or that's not a good idea, or why do you do this stuff? And I had this brilliant idea that the easiest way to make money would be to take my rent money and try to make more of it. So I took my rent money for my studio apartment, and there was a movie coming out on video called Titanic at the time. And I had 500 t-shirts printed up that read, "It sank, get over it." And I figured if I can go into Times Square and sell 180 shirts, I'd make my money back. I figured it would take a week to sell 180 shirts. I sold 500 shirts in 6 hours. I made $5,000. I came home, I threw it up in the air. I called a reporter I knew at USA Today. I said, I just did something really funny. She said, "That's hysterical. Are you selling the shirts online?" I went, "Of course I am. That's why I called you," and built the worst website known to man. The story broke the next morning on the front page of USA Today. I found this out because my phone rang at 5:30 in the morning, and it was my hosting provider asking if I'd started advertising because I was crashing their servers, and I had no idea why. And in just under 2 months, I sold 10,000 shirts on the web, cleared about $100,000, started my PR firm. It was ridiculous. It was, but my whole life, and I didn't realize this until probably 20 years later when I learned what ADHD was. My whole life, it's been try it, see what happens, somehow make it work. To put it another way, I have 2 speeds, and I only have 2 speeds, and those 2 speeds are namaste and I'll cut a bitch, and there's no middle ground there. And so, while that's gotten me in trouble, I've learned how to use it to my advantage a lot. And, everything I've done, whether it's starting Help a Reporter Out, and in 3 years, literally fundamentally changing how journalists and sources find each other, and then selling that to Vocus, now Business Wire, whether it was that, whether it was launching Faster Than Normal, which is the podcast that focuses on ADHD as a gift, not a curse. And we're coming up on our 100th episode next week. We've had Tony Robbins and Seth Godin, and I'm seeking these people out. I've written a best-selling book on it. I've written 5 books. My latest is a best-selling book called
Sonnenberg now, as of yesterday.
Yes, and you'll be on next month. Yeah, and at the end of the day, I like to do things that help the world. I like to make the world better. I've had a little bit of success, and I think it's kind of responsible to send the elevator back down. And then the last thing I do is I launched a mastermind group of about 175 people in it called Shank Minds. And when I sold Harrow, 2 things happened. I got a bunch of invitations to join these $100,000 a year masterminds that I had no desire to join. And the second thing was I realized that during all the good times of running Harrow, it was awesome. And during all the bad times, I had no one to talk to. And I realized that I desperately needed a tribe, and we all do. If entrepreneurship is awesome, but it's also lonely as hell. And I'm like, I got to change this. And so I built a mastermind group. We're digital. We're 90% online, and we have like 2 or 3 events a year. We have an event coming up in June. It's called Shank Minds, and I decided to do it at a price point that entrepreneurs just starting out could also afford. So I charge $89 a month because my premise is, I want to see good people coming together to help good people. And that's sort of my thing. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm very lucky. I'm very fortunate. I'm a single dad to a 5-year-old kid who's she's just awesome. And in my spare time, I fall out of airplanes. I'm a licensed skydiver.
I remember when I interviewed you last. I think you were saying that if the chute didn't open, you would put one of your shoes in the parachute. Just
exactly. If it didn't open, I'd take one of my shoes off and I'd put it down my jumpsuit. It wouldn't save my life, but it would confuse the fuck out of whoever found me.
Yeah,
what an awesome way to go.
Yeah. How the fuck did that happen?
That's my premise. So I skydive, I run marathons, I run Ironman triathlons. I am a very much 100% addicted to a Peloton junkie, and I'm pretty damn lucky. I'm having a good time.
And you're very disciplined. I mean, we caught up for coffee the other last month, and you were coming off of how many day fast were you on?
That was an 8-day fast. Yeah. Again, but that goes. It's not so much. In a perfect world, I wouldn't have to be disciplined, right? But again, I don't have a middle ground. I have 2 speeds. I have, there are people who can order a pizza at night and have 2 slices and
have
put
one
the rest
slice
in the fridge.
Yeah, you'll just.
That's called leftover pizza.
Your face in the box.
I've never had leftover pizza in my life. It's just not a thing. So, for me, it's much easier to have an all or nothing. And intermittent fasting is awesome because I don't have to think about it. It's like, I'm hungry. What time is it? My watch says you're currently fasting. Okay, can't eat. That's it.
I've been told that I have like a slight OCD or a bit of obsessive tendencies, especially like when for things that I start getting into, I can really get into it. I wonder if there's a correlation between ADD and obsessiveness.
There's no question there is. It is literally like a half a molecule away. There's a very strong. It's the same reason that when we focus on something that we really want to do, we can focus on it for 14 hours in deep work. Cal Norris wrote a book called Deep Work, and that's his basic premise. I wrote my last 3 books entirely on airplanes because that's where my happy place is for work. I can get on a plane. Like I actually booked a flight to Tokyo to write a book, not because I had to go to Tokyo, just because I needed 14 hours in each direction. I wrote chapters 1 through 5 on the flight out, went to the lounge, took a shower, got back on the same plane, same seat 2 hours later, wrote chapters 6 through 10, and came home with a best-selling book called Zombie Loyalists, using great service, great rabid fans. And people think I'm insane. But, dude, you spent $6,000 to go nowhere. No, I spent $6,000 to have 31 hours of uninterrupted time to write a book. It's not crazy if it works.
I mean, look, the thing that I always tell people is you have to figure out how you optimize your time and what works for you, whether that's, booking round trip flight just to write a book, or knowing that your brain is fresher in the morning after a workout, and then, dedicating that morning to your deep work, and then, doing less important stuff later in the day. But you have to figure out what works for you, and then, work around that.
I sleep in my gym clothes because I am very good at talking myself out of anything. And so when my alarm goes off around 4 a.m., and I know I have an hour and a half of biking to do, I also have my Internet of Things. My lights start coming up. My curtains start going up. So within 5 minutes, I'm up and I'm in my gym clothes. It's hard to go back to sleep when you're awake and in your gym clothes already, and the lights are on. I set up these things to allow me to live the best life I can. And again, some people are like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, you know what? You do you. This works for me. You do you.
Yeah, do you have the Philips wake up?
Sylvania and all connected with smart things. And then, of course, everything talks to Alexa, and it's, I love it.
Yeah. So it just like automatically starts slowly, like mimicking
over the course of 10 minutes.
Sunrising.
And as soon as I hear the curtains, my blinds start to go up, I'm awake. But it's great because I know, I'll sign up for, the Peloton is a great thing. When I have my daughter, I can't go out and run her bike, so I'll just sign up for a 4 a.m. class and a 5 a.m. class, and I'll know that if I'm not on the bike by 4 a.m., I'm not in that class. So there's your answer. At 3:54, I roll out of bed, I throw water on my face, put on the bike shoes, and I'm on the bike, and it's done. I did this morning, had a great ride. And the funny thing is, I have friends, a lot of people who's in my life who are very close to, oh, I wish I had the ability to do that. I'm like, well, you do. Because, I'm pretty sure where you live and where I live, I live a mile from you, and the earth rotates around the sun at the same exact speed. So it's not like I have more or less time than you do, or you have more or less time than I do. It's just we choose different things to be priorities. When I look on Facebook in the middle of the day and I see that you've liked a whole bunch of shit at 1:30 in the morning, maybe if you were sleeping, then you'd be able to get up. And I'm not. But again, that's totally cool if that's what you want to do. But don't say, "Oh, I wish I could do that," because you can.
Totally. And it's just either they don't have the willpower or they don't have the right systems in place.
Simply, when your desire to change becomes greater than your desire to stay the same, you change. It's not, it's not rocket science.
I think people just also lack an awareness. I don't think that they realize that 1:30 a.m. Facebook liking is actually, I think that they think that takes zero time, even though
I have my biggest fear when I quit drinking a couple of years ago. My biggest fear was that I was going to miss out on all the networking parties and things like that. And not only did I not do that, because anyone who really can make decisions, they're doing them at 7 a.m. over egg whites and coffee at a local diner or at the plaza. More importantly, my daughter goes to sleep at 8 o'clock. I'm asleep by 8:30. And in the 2.5, almost 3 years I've been doing this, I've missed nothing. My revenue has increased. My productivity has increased. My happiness has increased. My dopamine has definitely increased. My daughter always knows when I'm not on the bike in the morning, because I'll go to wake her up and be like, come on, honey, we have to get up. It's time for school. And she's like, Daddy, you're not as happy. You need to ride your bike. And it's like, kid's 5 years old. It's visible. And why wouldn't I want to be that? And so if that means I don't get to go out and make an idiot of myself or drink or whatever, and when I quit drinking, I wasn't like getting drunk or doing stupid shit like that. I was just having, again, just like pizza. I don't have one drink. I have 6, right? And then the next morning I wake up and I don't feel that great, so I don't go to the gym. And then, I've already blown the morning. I might as well order a pizza, and the cycle just continues. I had a trainer once who told me that a cheat day can't last 3 weeks, and he has a point.
That's why I never tried drugs. I have such an addictive personality. I would have become a drug addict for sure if I would have even touched it. So
I've said this publicly in the newspaper. I'll say it here. I believe that on any given day, I am 3 bad decisions in a row away from being a junkie in the streets. And I've never had a drug problem, thank God, knock on wood. But I have put, when you're driving a faster brain, when you're driving a Lamborghini, you better know how to drive it. And you better have the ability to stop on a dime when shit comes up or whatever. I eliminate as much choice out of my life as possible to prevent doing stupid shit or to prevent things from happening. My speaking, I speak all over the world. I'm a corporate keynote, like an A-level corporate keynote, and my speaking contract is like 3 paragraphs. I'll speak, you'll pay me, you'll pay my expenses. Except if I'm speaking in Vegas, then there's a rider that says speaker does not have to be on the ground from wheels down to wheels up for more than 8 hours, and will only do a 12:30 p.m. keynote. So I'll do a lunchtime keynote, which means that I can take a 6 a.m. flight in, land at 10, do a 12:30 keynote, be on a 4 p.m. flight home, get home at 10. Because if I have to stay overnight, one way or the other, that's me in Vegas unsupervised for 12 hours. Am I gonna blow my kid's college fund? Probably not. But you know what? Let's not give myself the option to do stupid shit. Know thyself. Shakespeare was right.
No, it's super important. And then also back to the working out thing. Apart from the cognitive benefit that it immediately gives you, where people just say, "Oh, I don't have time," but time is not linear in my mind. An hour after you've just done an hour Peloton and you've had your egg whites and your coffee is not the same as an hour at 6 o'clock and you haven't worked out. What you can get done in that first hour is probably what would take you 12 hours. If you summed up those, 5 to 6 o'clock when your brain's tired, your brain is operating at different levels, and you have to be aware of at what level your brain is operating under what conditions to schedule your time around it.
So you're making better choices, right? When your brain is full of dopamine, I'm sitting there, you know what? My daughter doesn't wake up for another 15 minutes. I'm going to go bang out 15 emails right now. Done. As opposed to, well, she's going to wait up 15 minutes. I'm just going to sort of sit here and, I'll watch like half an episode of King of the Hill. No, it's like when I bring my laptop to the drop zone, and when I finish a jump, I will literally sit down and plop out 10,000 words because I'm so full of chemical right now.
And it took me a long time to kind of realize that actually an hour of my brain is not the same depending on many different factors, right? And then another thing that took me way too long to figure out too is all this stuff, even if you don't buy into this, your brain's not the same under different conditions, it's preventing you from an injury. It's preventing you from a lot of different things. I overworked at a younger age, and, the amount of wasted time in physical therapy or in pain or any of those things, if I would have just worked out for an hour a day, 5 days a week, I would have saved literally thousands of hours.
The first one is every once in a while someone will leave Shank Minds. That's totally cool. And I'll ask them, hey, what's up? Why? Oh, I love what you have. I just didn't have the time. Well, no, you didn't have the priority. Let's understand the difference, because that's an insult to people who do make the time because they find it valuable. So you didn't have the priority. That's cool. The second point is exactly to your point. Starting something today. What's the really bad Tumblr quote? I hate all those freaking quotes, but some of them make a lot of sense. In 30 days, you'll wish you started today, right? And I know, how do I want to feel at 7 p.m. tonight? How do I want to feel at 8 p.m. tonight? That feeling that I want at 8 p.m. tonight starts at 4 a.m. this morning, and you just got to understand that.
Totally. Also, sorry, my computer was losing battery, so I had to just charge it. Also, what people don't realize, like, let's take your mastermind, for instance, right? They might not realize the immediate value. Oh, why this is not directly applicable, right? But people are cutting you a check because they're paying you for all of your previous knowledge, and they might not even realize how valuable that is today. But, there might be a sentence in like the whole entire conference, and that one sentence could completely change the way that they think. They could be asking themselves even just one different question, and by asking yourself one different question, it can fundamentally change the whole way you operate and think. So I think that it's becoming more and more of I think people are buying into these to the value of a mastermind, especially high level ones like yours now. But when I hear the same thing, my response is, if you just get one takeaway from it, you could get a 10x return easily.
I actually have living proof of that. I was in a mastermind in Bangkok in 2013, and I came and I heard one person suggest something to me. Well, have you ever thought about doing it this way? And I can literally trace $75,000 back to that one question. Like I can draw you a map. What did the whole event cost with travel? $5,000, right? I can trace 75 grand back to that. And so that's the thing. It's like the New York event we're doing is deliberately on June 15th. It's deliberately designed for that. We have these roundtables where, we have keynotes and all that, but you also have like 21 minutes where you're sitting with 8 people, all of whom are other entrepreneurs. And you have 3 minutes to talk about your company and then 19 or 18 minutes to get bombarded with questions, right? Which totally changed the way you think about it. And again, my whole process in building these things was I didn't want these things to be limited to the people who have sold, multi-million-dollar companies. Because when I sold mine, I got all these offers to join. I'm like, where were you guys when I was having a shitty day and no one understood or couldn't have anyone to talk to? Remind me, I actually have a code for your audience. The event's on June 15th, and we're recording this on the 24th anniversary of my graduating from Boston University. So if your members go to shankminds.com/NYC, which is the event on June 15th, if they use the code BU, I'll drop $150 off the cost of the day for them.
Awesome. We're gonna get behind that and promote it as well, because I believe in what you're doing, and also I'll be doing a roundtable there. So we'll definitely go and check that out. How is it structured? What's the difference between the way that you do Shank Minds?
So Shank Minds is entirely digital.
A little bit of it, but
Shank Minds itself is digital.
But in June, what does the agenda look like for
the keynote? Is the opening keynote for the day is being we have 100 people that are going to attend. The opening keynote is being given by the global head of corporate security for Bloomberg, who is a 35-year Marine who has since retired from the Marines, took this job, and he's going to talk about, essentially what I have a feeling he's going to talk about is the concept of continuing to go when you don't want to go anymore, which I just never get tired of hearing from anyone. Then we're opening it up to 90 minutes of roundtables. So we'll get about 4 out of the 8 people at the table, get them on the hot seat. Then I'm doing an hour of media training, which comes from my experience as a journalist, running a PR firm, and running Harrow. I know what journalists look for, and I'm going to give everyone an hour of media training. Over the course of the day, we have a professional photographer who's going to be there who's going to shoot your headshots for free. That's going to be an added. That right there is like, that right there is there. The event is with the discount I gave you guys. It's like $549. Good luck getting headshots for under $549. The afternoon we have more roundtables. You're going to be doing a little bit. I'm giving a keynote towards the end of the day, and then we're probably everyone will head over to a bar for. They'll drink and I'll have a Diet Coke. It's going to be an amazing. It's going to be a great day. We've sold out every single one we've done. It's being held at Convene on 52nd and 7th Avenue. It's June 15th. It's Friday. It's going to be a great day. I'm excited for it.
Awesome. Yeah. Everyone, come and check it out. I can't tell you enough how smart and brilliant Peter is, and I've never been to one of these, but I'm excited to check it out because I'm familiar with your work, and I completely respect the work that you're doing, and I'm sure that this is something completely incredible, and it's at a price point that is not like some of these other ones where it's like $25,000 and you get, kind of it's more just like, I'm sure there's a big networking aspect as well to what you're doing, but it sounds to me like there's actually very practical feedback.
Well, that's
and
the
content,
benefit. Everyone who joins, gets access to. They can then join Shankman's the digital group, and that's 150 people around the world. We got members we got the leading fashion photographer in Tokyo as a member, for God's sake, right? We have one of the top media strategists living in Dubai. Dubai is out there. I mean, we just have so many amazing people who literally want to help. I mean, the whole premise of joining the group is you have to be willing to give out as much as you get, if not more. Because at the end of the day, let's face it, people with resources tend to distribute opportunities to people they trust.
So what other, before we wrap up, what other ideas in the back burner do you have right now?
Faster Than Normal is pretty awesome. I really, I'm seeing 5-year-olds getting put on amphetamines because they're acting like, they're 5. And I just think that's wrong. I'm not anti-medication, but I do believe that there is a middle ground, and I don't believe it needs to be a first line of defense. So Faster Than Normal is actually being turned into a documentary, which is going to be really exciting. We're doing a Kickstarter for that in a couple of months. We have a phenomenal director on board, an award-winning director. So that's going to be great. The podcast, if any of your members have ADHD, we'd love to have them on the podcast. The episodes are only 20 minutes long because, well, ADHD. So it should be, that's really great. And I'm having fun. I'm, like I said, having a blast.
And the documentary, where is that? Is that going to be like a Netflix documentary? Or?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind submitting it. Again, I just want to get it out there. And I every time I talk to kids at schools or elementary schools or talk to parents, whatever, and I'm like, I meet these kids who they're like 12 years old and they've been told since they're 4 years old, they're broken. There's something wrong with them. They need to be fixed. And I'm like, dude, you fucking don't. You're awesome. Your brain is so much faster. You have to just learn to drive it. And I want to keep taking that message because, like I said, when I was a kid, it didn't exist. It was sit down, you disrupt in the class disease. And my childhood, I had great parents. I love my parents, but my school days really sucked. I got my ass kicked on a daily basis. And, if I had known how to shut up, I probably wouldn't have. And I just want to tell that story a little bit and get kids to realize that they're not broken, they're gifted.
I don't know what you think about this, but I found that the biggest antidote to my ADD isn't Adderall or anything like that, but it's creating systems and having proper systems in place because your brain is working super fast. You have ideas. If you don't have a place to capture those ideas, then it becomes stressful. So that's why I've kind of dedicated a lot of my energy and time to optimizing systems and tools and how, kind of how to play hot potato so that you're never, the wheels can be spinning super fast, but as long as I have places to be putting things really quickly, it's
devote
fine.
2 chapters in the book, Faster Than Normal, just to my systems and rules that I put into place. I have I have a closet with two sides to it, and one side says office/travel, and it's t-shirt and jeans. The other side says speaking/TV, and it's button-down shirt, jacket, and jeans, and that's it. My suits, my high holiday stuff, my shoes, my vest, those are all in my daughter's room in her closet. Because if I had to look every morning, what should I wear? That sweater. I remember that sweater. Laura gave me that sweater. I wonder how she's doing. It's 3 hours later. I'm naked in the living room on Facebook. I haven't left the house. So you put these rules into place. There's an image that you're not going to get in your head, but you put these rules into place, and they work.
I just want to sit with you for a day and just know all of these hacks that you have, the Tokyo back and forth to write a book, the closet. Can you just give us one more and then we'll call it a day? Because I know that it's probably maxing out the attention.
Back when Gawker was a thing, back when they were still alive, they got wind of the fact that I get up super early, and they actually wrote a piece. Peter Shankman is apparently a farmer, and it's nice to see that they're dead now and I'm still alive. But the getting up early thing, I can't stress enough. Just try 30 minutes early, right? Force yourself to get up 30 minutes earlier a day, and the less you have to lay out, the less ideas you have to think about, and the less decisions you have to make during your day, the more you can be productive, right? The whole reason I wear the same thing every day, or I wear a t-shirt or button down, I don't have to think about it, right? I don't want to sit there for 20 minutes to figure out what to wear. That's 20 minutes to be doing something else. I eat very similar foods. I cook on Sundays, right? I put the stuff in the fridge. When I'm not intermittent fasting, I'm eating healthy because, I deleted Seamless off my phone. It was too easy. Little things like that.
Decision fatigue is a serious thing. So where can people find out more about
So I am
you?
at Peter Shankman on all the socials. My email is peter@shankman.com. The mastermind is shankminds.com. The event is shankminds.com/NYC. And fasterthannormal.com is the podcast and book.
Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Leverage Podcast. Leverage is an on-demand outsourcing platform that helps small business owners and entrepreneurs scale their business. We have a team of experts that can help set up marketing and sales funnels, email marketing, podcasts, social media, paid media, and much more. Grow your business overnight with a team of experts you can trust to deliver. Accomplish more. Visit getleverage.com.